directed by
Tim
Rufus
Roth.
Norris, who is a theatre director. And so it's been very, very well regarded. It's a British independent feature. It did very well at the Biffers, nominated for several awards. I think it won the award for Best British Independent Film. And it's a multi-stranded story in which all these different narratives come together within a single close, a road, a close. And so, for example, Tim Roth is the father bringing up his children. We have this astonishing performance by Eloise Lawrence, who is absolutely terrific, as the daughter who is diabetic, who is kind of just sort of discovering the world and is incredibly, she's called Skunk. She's incredibly sort of a strange mixture of, on the one hand, reticent, but on the other hand, very confident. She is, in many ways, the absolute centre of the drama, and she is really, really great. And she lives next door to a young man who is very troubled at the very, very beginning of the film, is beaten up by the neighbour, who is a father of a group of daughters who appear to be completely out of control. Meanwhile, Cillian Murphy is having a relationship with the woman who is looking after the children for the... So it's all these different things come together. And
all in one nightmare cul-de-sac.
Exactly, which means that the interesting thing about the film is this: on the strong side, I do think that some of the performances are really great. Cillian Murphy's great. Tim Roth obviously is kind of always reliable, but Eloise Lawrence is particularly terrific. There is a lovely little story in it about her relationship with this character called Dylan, played by George Sargent, and this sort of happens as a kind of as a side strand to the story, and it's beautifully well observed. Their story is really engrossing and really well played, and done in such a way that you absolutely believe in their characters. My feeling about it was that on the one hand you have these kind of inflections that are, a little bit Andrea Arnold, actually occasionally with sort of hints of Lynn Ramsey, that sort of, that poetic realist style, which works very well. You also have underneath that this kind of a series of narrative strands which are moving towards some kind of slightly histrionic conclusion. And my feeling was the times when the film was at its weakest was the time that it felt the need to be soap opera-y in its, this character has it out with that character, this terrible thing happens. I mean, all manner of things happen in the manner of a soap, like Brookside or Emmerdale, when in the course of a very small period of time you'll have kidnappings, you'll have plane crashes, you'll have this, you'll have that. The funny thing is that the time for me when the film is at its strongest is when it's being completely down to earth and completely normal and completely, what would be referred to narratively as, humdrum, nothing happening. But in fact, those are the moments when everything is happening. And particularly in that sort of, as I said, that sort of sideways relationship between those two central characters, between Eloise Lawrence's character and this character Dylan, I thought it was terrifically well done. When you had Tim Roth on the programme, he was talking about the fact that they got Eloise Lawrence...
Yes, I mean, you really have to see this girl because she is something else. And most annoyingly for anyone who's desperate to be an actor, she's not convinced that she's going to stick with it anyway. She's got...
Oh, is that right?
I mean, she's only 11 or 12. Like, she's going to know anyway. She's got a very good friendship with Tim Roth, and they keep in touch. But he said she took the most complicated direction that it's possible to get. Not just you have to be happy in this scene or you get depressed, but within the course of 2 lines, she had to go from one kind of emotion and then a whole roller coaster, and she reflected it fantastically. So the reasons to go, there are many, many reasons to go and see the film. I mean, I think I enjoyed it more. I mean, I quite enjoyed.
No, I did like it, but did you feel? Did you share any of my reservations about that? It was at its best when it was being low key, and that it was at its worst when it was being really melodramatic.
I didn't mind the melodrama particularly,
okay.
And because I think she manages to, I mean, you're in so many capable hands. Not that always means it's going to be a good movie, but you're right with Tim Roth and Cillian Murphy, and whoever the next door neighbour is, I forget his name. But Eloise, you go and see it just for her. There is, it's worth the entrance alone just to see, and you just hope that she manages to mature. She gets some good roles, because she basically carries a film. That's what she's doing, and she's 11 or 12 years old. And
it is one of those things. It's very, very hard to observe. Young life well observed on film is a very difficult thing to get right. I mean, I think if you look at, for example, Bill Forsyth or Ken Loach or any of those the great directors who have managed to capture a particular, it's really rare to get it right. And that's why. Did you feel as affected as I did by that little side story about her and Dylan sort of finding that strange friendship? Because at the beginning she brings him home and they say, you can't come in here, you're a pikey. And then they sort of, so they develop their friendship out in this sort of wasteland there, and it's completely convincing. You absolutely believe in them, and you absolutely believe in their relationship, which is affectionate and intelligent and genuine and engrossing.
Do you think it's going to get a proper release? I mean, were people going to have a chance?
No, I hope so. I mean, it's got terrific reviews, and it's with only a few naysayers, it's been very, very well received, and you can see why. I just think that narratively they could dial it down a little bit, because the low key moments work so well.